Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for the delay, but we're all stuffing our faces with dinner still, probably. Um, but no, we are just going to start now. We will have table one action between Phil Robertshaw and Austin Shin while I check who starts. We will have a commentator. I will just get that all set up and I will let the guys play, and then Calum Edwards will join you in the middle of it, hopefully.
Okay, hello. Welcome to round 7 here at the Winter Matchplay in Milton Keynes. And the game we have now is Austin Shin against Phil Robertshaw. You'll have to excuse me for a moment because I've only just joined the game. So I'm just catching up with what's going on. Austin has played honed first move. Phil Robertshaw has replied with EAU, by the looks of it. Just looking at Austin's rack now. I'm not sure, but there is a bonus out of those tiles. So what will he be looking to play? Obe from 7F across. Doesn't look too bad. It does keep the U though. Yes, it looks like Phil's last play blocked a possible tube nose for Austin. Or with an R, he'd have had tube rose. But I don't think he's got an available bonus play on this move. So this is a tricky play here, really. So I see 20 points for Obe. And I'm not seeing a lot better than that, to be honest. I think I would. I mean, I'd like to be probably scoring more than 20 points. But SUTE is not a disastrous rack leave. Bout for 20 is on the top of Quackle's list. These are just flat plays. By that I mean that they don't take into account the game situation as such. They're just looking at rack leave versus score. But the best score to rack leave value is bout for 20 from 7G across. Yeah, I mean, I hate to disagree with Quackle, but I still like the keeping the extra consonant, which is what Obe gives you. Same score, keeps an extra consonant, but I can see that the U is not the best of tiles. But I like the balance of ESTU. Okay, looking at it again, actually there are actually win percentages on those plays, so they are not just flat rack leaves. Bout is the best play. Hotes for 16, another option from the HA that's already on the board, and it looks. Okay, getting a shot of the players on my screen here now. And it looks like Austin's going for something. He has played something for 20. And bout is the play. So Austin has played what Quackle to be the top move. Just looking if that's left anything for Phil. And it has. With that T on the board, Phil has riotizes through the T, which has already gone down. That was a quick spot from Phil. I hadn't spotted that myself. I looked it up on Visitor. Austin has a very interesting rack now. There will be numerous bonuses out of this, as he has 2 blanks. It's a pretty good pickup from his player Bout. Okay, I'm thinking there's probably loads of 7s and 8s. I haven't come up with one yet, but I have looked. I have cheated to find a 9. So there is a 9 through that OU that fits. So I'll leave you to think about that one. I'm wondering about something like Aracene through the R of riot sizes. Deafness plays as a double-double. Yeah, with this, there's lots of options. I mean, Aracene was the first thing that came to mind. I mean, the E's and the A, and those two blanks are off-putting, really. But Aracene was the first thing I saw. There's probably numerous things for that S, but deafness goes with that S for the double-double. Anureses for 74 would also play. Apneusises, Eneuses, Adenoses, Renases. These are all words that I know, but they're so hard to spot when you have those two blanks. Especially with the two E's and the A, I find it tricky. It just doesn't look somehow doesn't look consonanty enough to find something. But there are plenty of plays available there. Renases, Teniases, there are several things. It's taking Austin some time to think here because he's got so many options with those two blanks. You might even be looking for a four-timer through the O and the U, which he doesn't have, I don't believe. I think he's got a 9 that plays through there, but it doesn't hit the four-timer. But Austin, from my experience of playing him, does play a lot of 9-letter words. One example of which I remember a game against him where Springal, Springal, was already on the board, and he put a D on the end of it to make Springal, which I didn't know. So he got himself an extra 5 points out of that one as well. Play here is Waynis for 76, which is equal scoring wise to it is the best move scoring wise. Now that the play is over, I'll let you know. But the 9-letter word that was available was leavenous, Leavenous. Phil's rack is looking a bit clunky here. My eye is drawn to the double-letter word on the end of RE for Rex, but I don't think he's got anything that plays down there really. Fox is a possibility from K10 down. Possibly something like Mott, M-O-T-T. Out Fox, Quackle is saying. 4x. 4x scores 38. That would be the highest, and that's the play. It's the highest scoring play, it's the play. So Phil on 111, Austin on 122. Close game at the moment. Austin looks to be struggling a bit with his rack. It looks like Phil may be struggling shortly because he's left himself 4 consonants. I'm pretty sure there won't be any bonus possibilities for Austin with what he's got now. In this situation, I would be looking to get rid of at least one of those C's. I'm not averse to keeping a P and a C together. I'd probably be looking at something like cap or cag, both of which play at 10B. Oh, capture is nice. CAPTCHA, which has been played, and there is a hold on it. I believe a capture is a thing on an internet site to prove that you're not a robot. It's not very high probability. I've recently been through all the sevens, and it from what I remember, it's towards the end. So it's no surprise that this movie's on hold. It may be that Phil would recognise the word, but he does he know it from his Scrabble knowledge? Does he just know it as a word that you see on the internet when you're asked to prove that you're not a robot? So it looks like there has been a challenge. The word is good, so that'll be an extra 5 points. It's 37 plus 5. A nice spot from Austin there. It's not one of these words that you're going to be seeing every day, because it's not very high probability at all with those two C's in there and the P and the H. Phil needs an A for flatmates. Would that be okay? But I don't see one available. Not in the right place. Yep. Just a quick check with Zizova confirms that flatmate would be the only 8. There's no 7. And there is nowhere to play flatmate on this board. So I would be looking to keep at least one of those vowels. Something. It's a difficult one, this. I'd want to get rid of one of the T's. I'd be looking to keep a vowel and get rid of one of the T's if I can. But looking at it, something like TEF might be best from H1 down, which would score 30. So TAF has been played. Is that right? And that's no good. It did come to my mind, actually, TAF. I dismissed it and I checked it afterwards, and it is no good. And Austin hit straight back 5. So we have a pony that's been allowed to stay on the board by the look of it. Phil is an O away from something. But I can't remember what the word is. It's not Tom Alley, is it? I know that rack with an O makes something. Yeah, he's an O away from Tom Alley. And he has Metally as a 7. I had to check. I had to make sure that Metally was okay, but I was confident of Tom Alley. So Metally. Looking to see if it plays. Don't think it quite fits anywhere. Yeah, Hived. Jessica's pointing out to me that Hive blocked Metally. But I mean, so Phil might feel hard done by about that, but he's fortunate not to have the same rack in front of him as he had last time. Having played a phony that stayed on, he could have 30 points less and have the same rack as before. But yeah, nowhere to play Metally, nowhere to play any of the 8s that are possible with this. Just to confirm that with an H there is Methy Lal and an N for mentally and tally men. Bit of a pause in proceedings here. Palmy is Quackle's top. Oh, Yelm is the play. YELM, A11 down. That's not too bad. TAL is not a disastrous lead. Looking straight at Austin's rack now. Nothing is leaping out straight away. And I don't think there's anything there in the way of a 7-letter play or an 8-letter play. Austin has a 26-point lead at this stage. I might be looking at something like Bigger, BIGA. I could get that down anywhere. The first thing to do really is to look for a word and then look to see if it fits anywhere. Just to simplify the game a little bit. So I'd be looking with this rack. Ideally, I'd like to leave myself ER, but I'd settle for AR. And I can leave myself AR by playing BIGAE if I can find a spot to play it. It's turning into a slightly awkward board to score on. Something like Bigger does fit. You can put a B in front of EAU, so something like that would fit down there, but it gives a bit too much away. Something like Ambage or Ambage from 14J would really open the board up. It would score. It looks a good scoring play, but it would really open the board up. And that might not be what Austin is looking to do at the moment with a slight lead. He may not be looking to throw the board open. In the meantime, Phil has his leotard on his rack. Which is also delator. So another break in play. So Ambage is one option. That seems to be one of the better scoring options. Got any Quackle choices at all? Oh, he's going for something. Austin is putting something down. Gambia. GAMBIA would be an option. But what is going down is abrogate. There's something like that, but it's not that. Abnegate is a word. Abnegate, and I think ablegate as well. And apricate, but not that one. it's very easy when you know so many words, as these players do. They know a lot of words. There's something like 36,000 sevens. There's 40 odd thousand eights. When you're learning all these words, it's so easy to get them mixed up together. As I know from painful personal experience of playing phonies in big games. Looking at this rack, I mean, it's difficult to believe that Phil hasn't got anything here, but I'm not sure that he has. There are 9 available 8s. I can't see that any of them fit. And neither of the 7s fits. I'll have a look at it. As I say, the rack is Leotard and Dilator. And not going anywhere. Quackle is saying do for 17 from E4, and that Quackle simulation is taking into account what Austin's rack is. So, obviously Phil will be thinking, what has Austin got? What are his tiles? He's seen the rack, and Quackle is saying do at E4 is the play. Phil has played LO. So a free hit from Phil there, really. What does Austin do this time? I was struggling to see a decent play out of this rack before. Gambia, as we said, was a possibility. Gambia spelt Gambia, as in the country, which I'm not sure that takes an S. I will check that. I have a feeling that one may not take an S. Oh, it does take an S. Gambias. I had that in my head as one that maybe didn't. And Gambier is also a word, and that also takes an S. Those were Quackle's best suggestions, the previous move. Of course, Austin doesn't have exactly the same board situation as he had the previous move, because there is now that LO on the board. So if there's something down the side of that LO that might be better than playing Gambia at the bottom, I'm just looking at that. There are 4-letter words at play there, but nothing is particularly brilliant. But he's got to play something. I quite like Gambia actually with the IA ending. It's an aggressive play, but for his rack, I think it might be the best move. Keep with that ER leave. And there is, well, we've got a break in the game. There is some Scrabble going on in London tomorrow, some unrated Scrabble, which I might make my way over to Shepherd's Bush for. However, any Scrabblers who do venture over to Shepherd's Bush have to take into account that they've developed a strange habit over there of imprisoning Scrabble players in plastic boxes in shopping centres. So I will have to keep my eyes out to make sure that nothing like that happens. Anyone who's just joined us, I am talking gibberish because we have a slight break in the game. Austin is trying to work out what to do with a tricky rack here. He's already phonied from this rack on the previous move, attempting abrogate on the previous move, which was challenged off. And he's playing something now. And Gambia has gone down, Gambia. I think that's possibly the best he can do out of that. The rack leader VR at least is good. It's a decent score. Last time Phil was an L short of Leadwort. This time he is sorry. Last time he was a W short of Leadwort. With this rack, he's an L short of Leadwort. I'm just looking to see if there's any options with what he's got here. Once again, I'm not seeing a bonus. Yep, Jessica just pointing out the G is not in the right place for Water Dog, the G of Gambia. Phil's having a bit of a hard time with these letters here. But the last two moves, he's had 8 or 9 possible 8s with the 7 tiles that he's got, but nowhere to play any of them. Usually, if you were thinking there were that many possibilities, you would think he'd be able to get something down. But unless I'm missing something, I can't see an 8-letter play here again. He doesn't have a 7 on his rack. And Quackle is saying Dow at 15H is the best play. That would score 29. And that's the play, DOW. And Austin has rejunked his G. He has rejunk with a G, which is not a word. Something like jug or junk, looking for places to load. And with a J, you're always looking for a hot spot, a triple letter or double word, something like that. GJU is the best play, and it's been played. Austin is playing quite fast on that move. He's taken some time on some previous moves. Looking at Phil's tiles again, they look halfway decent. They look close to something, but I'm not sure. And there's no 7 and there's no 8s possible this time. That rack doesn't make anything and it doesn't go with anything. So he's in a spot of irate woe at the moment with that rack. I'm looking at the W having the main scoring potential there. If you could play OW somewhere, which you can from F5 down, it's not inspiring though. Oh yeah, WO into the corner, 15N, making JAW as well. That's probably as good as it's going to get with this rack, I think. And it looks like, yeah, that is the play. TWO as well would have played, but it would have left too many vowels. Austin has a 7 there, I think. It's one of those where I can see the rack and I know there's a 7 there, but what is it? I think it's knurled, KNURLED, and runkled. I saw both of those and I wondered which it was, and in fact it's both of them. Neither of them plays by the look of it. So this is one of those frustrating games where both players seem to be getting racks that are close to something, not quite making things. I mean, Austin needs to be thinking really about getting rid of the K and the U are not helpful here. I'm wondering about something like I can't even pronounce it. O-U-L-K from the O-U that's already on the board. Looking at those Quackle options, Ulk is the best equity play. He's played Nell though, which scores a fair bit more. Phil has Retiary. And he does have a player. No, he doesn't have a playable bonus yet. Oh, he does. He has Retiary off the K of Nell. I was looking to see if he had any eights, and he didn't quite have Tertiary up with the T at the top. But he did have a place to play Retiary, so that's gone down. Austin has no 9 timer. He has no bonus. Not in the seven tiles he has in his rack anyway, and I'm doubtful that's going to go with anything else either. Something like P-U-R-R from A12 down scores 27 for Austin, and it looks like Per is the play. And Phil has Mingia on his rack. With a T, that would be retiming, which doesn't fit. Mitering also doesn't fit. Meriting doesn't fit. I'm not seeing where a 7 goes down with this rack. So once again, this is frustrating stuff for both players, really. Phil has got the lead, but only by 12 points. He has 7-letter play. He has tiles that should go with something else. They do go with that T, but the T is not in the right place. Okay, I'm hearing a bag rattling. Just waiting to see what the play was. Just a tile count, Jessica was saying. And yeah, speaking of tile counts, there are 11 in the bag. There's 18 unseen tiles. 7 of them will hopefully be on Austin's rack. So there should be 11 in that bag. Usually if I count the tiles at this stage, I kind of put my hand on the bag and think, oh, that's too many to bother counting at this stage. But I probably shouldn't do that. I think it's probably important to know, in a close game like this, certainly you would want to know how many are left. Particularly if you're thinking about your tile tracking and whether you've got your tile tracking right. I don't know the Scrabbling experience of the people listening here, but tile tracking is where you cross the tiles off as you go through the game, and so hopefully at the end of the game you know exactly what tiles your opponent has left when there are none in the bag. It's a useful practice. It's also useful during the game for working out what the balance of vowels and consonants left are, working out which letters are gone. So, Phil taking his time over this one. It's a hard one. He must be thinking he's missing something because they're such good tiles. So he extends his lead to 26 points with a play of Minge. Austin has the Q, which he will be looking to get rid of, I think. He could play QI at D13. He can play QAT at 2G. Neither of those score particularly much, but they do get rid of that Q, which is disastrous to have on your rack, really. Cat at the bottom of the board for 12. That's much better than playing it at the top of the board, because that's blocky, and Austin is slightly behind. He will be thinking he might need a bonus. And he also has tiles that will give him a bonus now, probably. Reslated will play. Going back to Phil's rack, he's an O short of Nova Int or Inventor. Don't think there's a 7. I'd be doubtful that there's a playable 8. Oh, he has got 7. He's got Vintner, but it doesn't seem to play anywhere. And none of the 8s play. There's 7 possible 8s. Inventor and Nova Int that I've already mentioned. Inventor with an E. Inverting with an I. Venturing with G. Vintners, if there was an S there. Austin has leaders. He has redeals. As I mentioned, he has reslated with that T at the top. I would think that Phil is unlikely to block that. And Phil's played Vin for 18. Reslated Desalter also plays at the top. I heard a call of 60, which is for reslated. So Austin plays reslated for 60. That might put him a slight favourite now, but Phil has the Z. Could be helpful to score with. First glance, POS and ZO scores 27. And that would leave a very nice rack of TRANE, but I'm not sure how. No, the bag, there's only 2 unseen tiles. So the bag is empty. And Austin only has 1 outplay of Iwi through a blank W, which will score 9 if he gets to play it. Took me a while to catch up there when the bonus went down, but I knew the bag was low. But yes, there are only 2 tiles left. They're on Austin's rack. I he has. So what can Phil do here? He's going to have to block that outplay, probably by playing ZO from L1. Sorry, not L1. Yes, L1. That's for 22 if he plays that. And that would probably leave him multiple outs. The possibility of Zeta next go. Jessica's helping me out here, showing me these possibilities. Yeah. So we're sure that Austin just has Iwi. That was a question rather than a statement. But yeah, I can't see what else he's going to do with 2 eyes on this board. So Phil does work that out and does block that spot. I mean, one of the dangers of having the blank as the W there being the blank is, will Phil spot it? Will Phil remember that's W? He's a top player. He should, but it doesn't always work like that. You can sometimes miss something because of a blank being a tile. So if Phil makes that ZO play, that will score 22. It would put him 6 behind. Austin will not be able to play out in 1, and Phil will have Zeta next time. Phil has made a play which looked like it was going in the top right-hand corner of the board. He's placed tiles in the top right-hand corner of the board, so I'm thinking he might be putting ZO down. I'm seeing WAR on my screen. It's a setup for zone. Yeah. WAR sets up zone. It's not blockable. I can't see how it's blockable. Oh wow. Austin still has an outplay. I haven't spotted it. Wackle has. Austin has Iodine to play out with. And Austin has played Iodine. There's been a challenge, but there's 2 spots there. The only thing Phil's lost here is spread. Phil could have got a better spread out of this game. Played ZO. Don't think he can win it those 2 out spots. Okay, so that's the end of the game. Well played to Austin there. He spotted something that I didn't spot. Don't think Jessica had spotted it, and Phil hadn't spotted it. So if you can spot those kind of moves, you're going to win games. So a slightly frustrating game there for both players probably, because there were a lot of bonuses didn't play. Final scores: 413 to Austin, 348 to Phil. I believe that puts Austin on 6-1 now, and Phil will be on 5-2. I'm not sure whether you're hearing my commentary or whether you're hearing the players speak at the moment, but Phil has just pointed out to Austin that abrogate is a word, but no abrogate. Okay, so an interesting game, but as I say, probably frustrating for both players involved. You can't argue with Austin deserving to win, really. There were some nice plays in there. Spotting that Iodine outplay is what clinched in the end. Capture was a very nice play. Although, on the other hand, you could argue that with a phony, could that have swung it in Phil's favour when that phony was challenged off? But then, of course, Phil had a phony of his own, but his phony stayed on the board.